Welcome to Behind the Case podcast, a podcast that focuses on navigating the challenges our clients face with divorce and family law in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Behind the Case is brought to you by the Turner Monahan legal team. With over 70 years of collective experience in divorce and family law. Together, Tyler Monahan, Keaton Monahan, Tina Campbell, and the Turner Monahan team will discuss real-life cases, answer questions, and explore family law areas from divorce to child custody. Our goal is to clarify scenarios and demystify legal jargon, making the process less daunting and reminding you that you're not alone. So sit back and let's discuss what happens behind the case.
A lot of people are afraid to make that first call, or they submit the form saying, hey, I want consultation. They're afraid to pick up the phone. So we really want to talk about, how is that consultation looking like? What is it like? What should they expect whenever they submit a form saying, I want a consultation?
So with Turner Monahan, I would say 95 to 98% of all of our clients will either be a referral from somebody, which they'll call in, and it's not that big of a deal about them calling in because they kind of already know about us. Or number two is that they will look online and they will get our information either from Google or our website or some other sort of search engine, or they may have heard a podcast, or they may have heard, some sort of commercial that was going on, and then they will send in a form online. Everybody needs to understand those forms that come in, they're responded to immediately. Those forms come in, and myself and Misty, Gill, we receive those forms, and we will send out an email, personal email. There are canned emails that go out that may say, hey, we're checking to see, what's going on. But at the end of the day, when you receive an email from us, when you first email in, those are emails coming from somebody at the office, whether it's myself or Misty or possibly one of the other attorneys, depending upon who's here, to say, hey, when are you available to speak? And most times people will say, I can speak at this time, and either Misty will call them back, or I will call them back, or Heather or Tina will call them back. And that particular consultation, if it's done with Misty, Misty will get the information, discuss with them the information that they are providing to make sure that she understands what's going on. Then she will get with either myself or Tina or Heather to discuss where things are. And then we will either get on the phone, or Misty will let them know, hey, look, this is where we are with things, and this is what's going on. And I spoke with Mr. Monahan or Miss Campbell or Miss Ozier about your case, and this is what we're going to need to do is in regards to, if you want to retain us, we're going to need you to come in and do X, Y, Z, and they'll know how to move forward with it. And Misty, who's been with us for 12 years now, she understands how we work, and we use a fee-for-service fee structure instead of an hourly fee basis. And Misty, when you discuss with these individuals, you're not providing them legal advice, but you're acquiring information from them for us, for the attorneys to be able to provide them a quote on where things are, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And in regards to when you're speaking to these individuals, what type of information are you getting from them? What are you wanting to know so you can get the information to one of us so that you understand and we understand what they're trying to do?
I mean, typically what I do is I get their basic information, what county they're in, make sure it's a county we serviced. And then I figure out what type of case it is. Is it divorce, child custody? Is it criminal? What is it? And then I basically let you talk. I'll let you tell your story. Tell me what happened, how it happened, when it happened, and what it is that you're needing. And if it's something that we can handle, then I basically give you the rundown on each step to get you in the door to where you can get set up to talk to one of the attorneys.
Is there anything that they should come prepared for? Like they should have documentation? Is there anything that they need to really prep for that first call?
They're provided that information once I determine it's something we can help them with. So let's say it's a divorce out of Tarrant County. I'll give them an information sheet, have them fill that out, get it back to me. And let's say it's somebody who got served with divorce paperwork. I have them send me that paperwork. I get it to a point where we have a Google Drive set up. We get the Google Drive. I get them their information. And my ideal in setting it all up and getting everybody in and get personal with them and figure out, okay, what can we do moving forward? And I can't determine that until I have factual information. So once we have their pleadings, if they got served, I can figure out, what are we looking at? Like, are we looking at, hearing next week? Are we looking at maybe our client has time, they have several months where I can have them to send me all their basic information for the attorneys to determine what they need to do.
And it's important for Misty to get that information, because the more information Misty has, the more that, and whenever Misty does this, she takes copious notes and puts them in our system. And that way Misty can then say, okay, I'm going to refer back to this. And now Tyler's back from court, or Tina's back from court, or mediation, or wherever they might be. Now I need to discuss with them on what's going on and why this person wants to retain. And then we're able to get the information, make a decision on, okay, we need to file an answer tomorrow. We need to contact an opposing counsel or the court to get a reset date or whatever it might be, instead of sitting around in a logjam waiting and not calling somebody back for 2 or 3 days, or not talking to them right away. When people contact our office, they're not contacting us hoping and praying they get a meeting set up in 2 weeks. People want answers. And it's because this is an emotional, irrational, and illogical time for anybody. It would be for me if I was going through it. It would be for anybody. So we understand that. We just want to figure out a way that when they get us this information, how do we somehow put a little bit of ease in our clients' minds as to we've got it handled and that we are doing our job. And our job is a lot of behind the curtains that you don't see things are going on, because our job is a lot of getting papers filed, getting things drafted, talking to other people, getting hearings moved. It's not something that you see every single day in a tangible format. A lot of it is intangible that we do, and I think that we're really good at being able to do it.
Well, and everybody's case is different. You know, no one divorce is the same as the next person.
The thumbprint, like we've discussed.
Yeah. And so that's the other deal, is we have to make sure that our clients and I, and even with the attorneys, they have good communication, and we can relate to. We have a lot of relatable stories, but at the end of the day, everybody's different. Mm-hmm. And everybody deserves to be treated the same. And that's just how I do consults. You know, no one's any different than anybody else. And it doesn't matter if, you know, your estate has $20 or your estate has 20 million, you know, you're still going through the same type of process because it's all under Texas state law. That's
right. We're going to attempt to handle it the exact same across the board. Now, does that mean you're going to have the same services? No. Does that mean you're going to have the same fees? No. But the way we look at it from the outset is we have to listen to everybody's position to understand where things are, so we know what to do and how to advise the client moving forward.
Does it make a difference if they're coming to you before anything was filed, or like they have papers in hand that they've already been served? How does that conversation look different in that consultation?
Let's take a quick pause here. If you or someone you know is navigating divorce or family law matters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, reach out to Turner Monahan for a free legal consultation. Call us at 817-332-4477 or visit us at tumolaw.com. That's TUMOLAW.com for a free legal consultation. Now, let's get back to behind the case.
For me, I strategize it. I say, okay, you know, if let's say you have a marital couple that are going through counseling, they're not 100% sure, or the counselor hasn't really advised them that they do need to move forward with getting a divorce. I've had that, actually. I've had it to where a counselor has told 2 individuals, hey, look, you know, this may not work out for you guys after you've done a year of counseling. I think I'm going to suggest that y'all go ahead and move forward with separating. It's not healthy for either one of you, whatever. And they'll call and they'll say, okay, you know, we're still going to give it a couple months, but I want to do it. And I'll go ahead and give them the information. We'll have it all set up. We'll have it ready. Most of the time, if they tell us go ahead and draft your petition, draft everything, we'll do it. And then all you have to do is you give us a call and you're like, hey, I'm ready to get going.
And there are a lot of people that will retain that way, just to have our services, and we're providing them that advice. Because once they call and they retain, they know from that point forward they're going to be getting advice from an attorney.
Right.
And so they may pay a certain amount up front. They may never end up filing, but they love the fact that they can call in and say, hey, Misty, I need you to give this information to Tyler, and have Tyler or Tina or Heather or Keaton or Dick or whoever it is call me back so I know what's going on. We do that all the time. Then we have people that say, I'm going to retain. I don't know what I want to do. And then 2 days later, they say, I'm ready to move forward. This is for sure not going to work. Well, let's get the ball rolling. A lot of times people want to have that peace of mind that they have somebody that's in their corner that can advise them and give them counsel. We can't do that for free. That's against the Texas rules of ethics. So once somebody retains our firm, then we can provide them advice on where things are and what they're doing, because now we're their attorney of record. We're representing them, even if they have not filed for divorce.
Saying that, like child custody, when somebody's looking to modify an order or something like that, a lot of times they have to build up a case before they could truly just walk in and modify the order. So when should they reach out to you on either a modification or getting prep?
It's not building a case, because there could be something that happened immediate, which is emergent, meaning like, hey, this emergency, the mother was arrested for doing XYZ, or the father was arrested for doing XYZ, or the children were left and CPS was called, who knows what it is, and boom, you're going to call somebody. I think that anybody who has a question about the possibility of modifying, whether it be for child support, whether it be for who has the right to designate primary, whether it be for a possession and access schedule, whether it be for rights for education or for medical or dental or surgical or psychological or psychiatric decisions, whatever it might be, they should contact an attorney, find out where things are, and ask questions. Well, look, I'm wanting to do XYZ. Well, we can either assist in that or we can't. And then we can provide them at least a guideline of, hey, look, this is what the courts look at, but we can't give you advice on whether or not you file or don't file. We can't do that until somebody comes to us and says, we want to retain your services. We want you to advise us through this process. And then as we go through that process, they may actually already have the information and the facts they need. They just didn't know it. So our firm doesn't give a bunch of information saying, hey, look, get this, and together and come back and retain us. We can't really do that. We can't give them advice. But if they want to retain for our counsel, because our advice is our stock and trade, that's what we do, right? We provide advice. If they want to retain somebody who's going to give them sound advice, that's what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah, and what I have them do is, I get them through the intake process where I can, once I get them, to send me over a bulletin, 1, 2, 3, 4, ABCD of things that have occurred since their last order, and things like, every time we do finish a case, I try to tell people, hey, get a calendar, color code it to where you're setting it up to when you're going to have possession of your kids. And that way you can keep track in the future and know if something goes wrong in your case, or maybe something that doesn't work. Let's just say something ends up not working and it's something you have to modify later, and give us those tangible items that are factual. So I would give them the Google Drive. They can upload their evidence that they have that they might feel is sufficient to go in and modify their court order to change it. And then the attorneys will be able to open that up and review it, and then they can set up a time. So basically, if somebody's contacting us about that modification, I say, hey, what's occurred? What happened? Sometimes they'll say, the visitation's just not working. Okay, well, did you keep up with it? Do you have an outline? Do you know what is not working? And I will have them provide that to me to where I can get it in a portal for the attorneys. My job essentially is to listen and to get a good understanding and make sure it's something that we can help the person with. And if it's something we can't, I always refer it out and help whoever I can help. If it's something I can help them with, then I want to get them here, get them with, our great team, get them assigned to somebody. And once they're assigned and the attorneys have the factual evidence they need, then they can give them really good information. It's really hard, it's like a doctor. They have to do the x-ray before they can fix the bones. So it's the same thing. You giving us your factual information for me to give to an attorney that's going to be assigned to you that can do a good review of it. And then whenever you're getting on the phone with your attorney, you're going to be able to get on the phone with your attorney, and your attorney's going to say, hey, I've got all your evidence here. I see your pictures. I see your schedules. I see where it's going wrong. And you know what? It is time to do a modification. And this is how we're going to advise you, and this is how we're going to move forward with doing it.
Yeah. So what does it look like for a client? So if they've decided they're going to move forward, they're going to retain Turner Monahan.
Yeah.
What's their next steps that they need to prepare for?
So the first step is I give them, your basic info. So anytime you go anywhere in any sort of profession, they give you the clipboard and paper. I email it. I make it really easy. You can type it in if you want to type it in. You can handwrite it, whatever it is. It's your basic information along with the other party's information. and your children's information, and you fill that out, you get it back to us, and we have different systems that you're put in. We have our law system that we put all our clients in, set up your accounts, people that we can discuss your case with, and everything that you tell us to do, it's all confidential in our office, and we have a system that we put it in. And then we have a master's folder that we use that you will get your own specified folder. You also get your links that will be sent to you where you can easily use your cell phone, upload any evidence that you have, your text messages, your phone numbers, your call logs, your visitation schedules, pictures of your children, whatever it may be. You have access to a folder that we also access and we get to share together. That way we're all on the same page. And in that folder, there's subfolders that will give us, so the court requires certain forms to be completed before you go in and have a court hearing. And with that, those forms are also a part of that link. And it makes it really easy for our clients to where they have access to all the forms needed, have those filled out. So when we do have a court hearing, because some of these court hearings we have to have within 14 days of when, we're hired. We're ready to get in there. If you need a court order for possession and access, we want to get it done now. If you, maybe have an emergency case, when we're having to get those together, we need the evidence right now. So we've been able to really grow in the firm, especially in the IT section where we're making it really easy for our clients to do things also to help their own case, but also make it really easily accessible for us so we can get it to a judge, so we can get it to the opposing counsels, and we can get it to where we have all the factual evidence needed for our attorneys to argue the case. And that's just what I like to make sure out the gate, that I'm able to offer that to our clients.
So for somebody that's listening in the DFW area that's like, I need to make that call, I need to have that first consultation, how do they have that consultation with you? How do they?
Yeah. Well, we have our website, the Tumo Law website. We also have our phone number of 817-332-4477. Again, that's 817-332-4477. That's our direct number. The good thing about that number is we actually have up to 12 phone lines that direct that number. And that number rolls over to cell phones. So you would actually get me on my cell phone personally if you called in, because those numbers roll over to mine and Tyler's cell phones. And we're accessible 24/7. But you will contact our number. You will get a hold of me or Jessica, who also answers the phones, and we will get your basic information. What's your name? What's your phone number? What can we help you with today? What kind of case is it that you have? And I will talk to you. Tell me what happened. Is it maybe you and your spouse got into a really bad altercation and there's been 50 of them and you've just realized, hey, I just can't be married anymore, or maybe I just want a new beginning, or maybe your job's relocating you and your spouse wants to stay home. Maybe you guys just don't co-parent well. Whatever the facts may be, we'll talk about that. And if it is something that I am in a position that, we handle your county. So that's one of my biggest questions that I have is, what county are you in? I asked that question initially right out the gate. Tell me what county you are in. We service Tarrant County, Parker County, Wise County, Johnson County, Denton County, Ellis County. We do cover a lot of surrounding counties. I've also had clients that have hired us that are down south or out west or even east that says, hey, I really want to use your firm. I'm willing to pay for the travel. Will you handle our case? And we handle those cases, actually, believe it or not. I've had several cases that, Tyler's flown out and handled the case, and it was a great case, and we got it done. And that's kind of how we do it.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Behind the Case. If this episode offered insight or helped clarify some aspect of divorce and family law, we encourage you to subscribe and share it with others who might benefit. For those in the DFW area that are in need of a legal consultation, you can reach us at tumolaw.com. That's TUMOLAW.com or 817-332-4477 to schedule a free legal consultation. Remember, the journey through legal matters can be complex, but you don't have to navigate it alone. Until our next discussion, take care. Please note that the information provided in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended as legal advice. Listening to this podcast or contacting our team does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. For advice on your specific situation, please consult with a licensed attorney in your area.